Did you ever feel like the world was spinning, but you were stuck in place, watching it all crumble? Buckle up, because this is a story about trust, betrayal, and the quiet devastation that happens when the person you love the most shatters your world. It's a story about Jaini, and a moment that changed everything. Okay, so picture this Jaini, living in the heart of the city, always considered herself a pretty good judge of character, loving, loyal, and fiercely protective. She believed in second chances, but also in karma. She and Mark had been together for 5 years, and they'd built a life together, a comfortable routine. Friday nights were sacred. Takeout, a movie, and just relaxing after a long week. This particular Friday was no different. They were sprawled on the couch, halfway through a thriller, the city lights twinkling outside their window. Everything felt normal. Too normal, maybe. Jaini nestled closer to Mark, subconsciously seeking reassurance, a silent confirmation that everything was all right, a reassurance that their bubble was secure, untouched by the chaos of the outside world. Little did she know, that bubble was about to burst in the most unexpected and heartbreaking way imaginable, leaving her questioning everything she thought she knew. That night, their usual Friday ritual turned into a defining moment, a stark reminder that appearances can be deceiving and trust, once broken, is incredibly hard to repair. Jaini was about to experience a betrayal that would shake her to her core, turning her world upside down and forcing her to confront the ugly truth lurking beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect relationship. The movie was reaching its climax, tension building with every scene. Jaini felt Mark shift beside her. His hand, which had been resting on the couch, moved, seemingly casually. It wasn't unusual for them to touch, to hold hands, to cuddle, but this time, it was different. His hand brushed against her leg, then lingered. Okay, still normal, she thought. He was probably just getting comfortable, but then, his fingers started to move, inching their way further up. Not in a loving way. Not in a way that said, I love you, but in a way that felt exploratory, almost detached. And here's the thing, it wasn't her leg he was exploring. It was the leg of the woman sitting beside her on the sofa. Her best friend, Sarah, who had joined them for the movie night. Jaini's blood ran cold. She froze. Completely disbelief washed over her, followed by a wave of nausea. Was she imagining things? Could this really be happening? Surely, there was some kind of mistake. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe he was just absent-mindedly. No. There was no excuse. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. Jaini's mind raced. She couldn't move, couldn't speak. The movie continued to play, oblivious to the drama unfolding on the couch. Sarah, completely unaware, was engrossed in the plot, occasionally letting out a gasp or a nervous giggle. Jaini felt a knot forming in her stomach, a toxic mix of anger, hurt, and betrayal. How could he do this right in front of her, in their home, with her best friend? The audacity, the sheer disrespect, was staggering. She wanted to scream, to lash out, to tear them apart, but she remained frozen, trapped in a nightmare she couldn't escape. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat a painful reminder of the trust that was being so carelessly violated. The silence in the room was deafening, punctuated only by the sounds of the movie and the frantic thoughts swirling in Jaini's head. She felt like she was watching a scene from a movie, a twisted, surreal drama that she couldn't believe was her own reality. This was not the man she thought she knew. This was not the love story she had envisioned. The weight of the situation pressed down on her, suffocating her. Jaini knew she couldn't stay silent forever. She had to do something, say something, anything to break the spell. But what? How could she confront him without causing a scene, without embarrassing Sarah, without completely losing control? She needed to gather her thoughts, to formulate a plan, to find the strength to face this betrayal. But every second that passed felt like an eternity, each moment amplifying the pain and deepening the wound. The city lights outside seemed to mock her, their twinkling brilliance a stark contrast to the darkness that had enveloped her world. She felt utterly alone, betrayed by the two people she trusted the most. The foundations of her life were crumbling, and she didn't know how to stop the fall. She needed to find a way to reclaim her power, to stand up for herself, and to decide what to do next. But right now, all she felt was numb, lost in a sea of confusion and despair. Finally, she subtly shifted, just enough to break the contact. Mark didn't react, didn't even acknowledge her movement. He simply withdrew his hand, as if nothing had happened. the casualness of it all was even more infuriating. He truly believed he could get away with this, that she wouldn't notice, that she wouldn't care. He underestimated her. He underestimated her love, her loyalty, and her capacity for revenge. Jaini knew that this wasn't just a momentary lapse in judgment. This was a reflection of his true character, a glimpse into the depths of his deceit. The pain was excruciating, but beneath it, a spark of anger ignited, a resolve to not let him get away with this, to not let him destroy her life. She would not be a victim, she would be a survivor. She would find a way to make him pay for his betrayal. The thought fueled her, giving her the strength she needed to pull herself together and start planning her next move. The rest of the movie passed in a blur. Jaini barely registered the plot, her mind consumed by thoughts of revenge. She knew she couldn't confront him right away. She needed to gather evidence, to understand the extent of his betrayal, to formulate a plan that would leave him reeling. She subtly pulled out her phone and started recording their conversation, hoping to catch him in a lie, to document his infidelity. Every word, every gesture, was now under scrutiny. She observed him closely, searching for any sign of guilt or remorse. But he remained calm, collected, seemingly oblivious to the storm brewing inside her. She knew she had to be patient, to play the long game, to wait for the perfect opportunity to strike. This was not just about revenge. It was about reclaiming her dignity, about protecting herself from further harm, about ensuring that he would never be able to betray anyone else in this way again. The weight of her mission settled on her shoulders, but she was ready to carry it. When the movie finally ended, Sarah yawned and stretched. "That was good. Thanks for having me, guys." She gathered her things and headed for the door. Mark walked her out, offering a casual hug goodnight. Jaini watched them, her eyes narrowed, her heart filled with bitterness. The hug seemed to linger a little too long, the smiles a little too forced. She wanted to scream, to rip them apart, but she held her tongue, knowing that her time would come. She silently vowed to make him regret this night, to make him understand the pain he had inflicted upon her. As Sarah disappeared down the hall, Jaini turned her attention back to Mark, a cold, steely gaze replacing the loving warmth that had once filled her eyes. The game had changed, the rules had been and Jaini was ready to play. Mark returned to the living room, oblivious to the tsunami that was about to hit him. He smiled at Jaini, a smile that now seemed hollow and fake. "So, what do you want to do now?" he asked, his voice dripping with false innocence. Jaini simply stared at him, her silence speaking volumes. He shifted uncomfortably, sensing that something was wrong. "Everything okay?" he asked, his eyes betraying a hint of nervousness. Jaini took a deep breath and said, "We need to talk." Her voice was calm, but her tone was resolute. He knew then that the game was up. The facade had crumbled. The truth was about to be revealed. He braced himself for the storm that was coming, knowing that he had brought it upon himself. He had underestimated Jaini. He had underestimated her strength, her intelligence, and her capacity for revenge. And now, he was about to pay the price. The silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken accusations and simmering resentment. The air crackled with tension. The calm before the storm. Jaini laid out her plan carefully. No screaming, no yelling, just cold, calculated revenge. First, she discreetly transferred all their joint funds into a private account. Then, she contacted a lawyer, gathering evidence of his infidelity to ensure a favorable divorce settlement. She meticulously documented every text, every email, every suspicious phone call, building a case that would leave him with nothing. She even befriended some of his co-workers, subtly extracting information about his past indiscretions, painting a picture of a serial cheater. Her revenge was not about inflicting pain. It was about reclaiming her power, about protecting herself financially, and about ensuring that he would never be able to hurt another woman in this way again. She transformed from a loving, trusting partner into a strategic mastermind, using her intelligence and resourcefulness to dismantle his life piece by piece. And she did it all with a quiet, unwavering determination, proving that revenge is a dish best served cold. Finally, after weeks of meticulous planning, Jaini executed her final move. She confronted Mark with the evidence of his infidelity, presenting him with a choice: confess everything and agree to her terms, or face the consequences in court. He was stunned, speechless, caught completely off guard. He had no idea that she had been gathering evidence, that she had been plotting her revenge. He tried to deny it, to lie his way out of it, but the evidence was overwhelming. He had no choice but to confess. Jaini watched him crumble, his facade of innocence shattering into a million pieces. She felt no satisfaction, no joy, only a profound sense of sadness. The man she had loved was gone, replaced by a stranger she barely recognized. She walked away, leaving him to wallow in his own regret, knowing that she had done everything she could to protect herself and reclaim her life. She emerged from the ashes of her shattered relationship stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever to live a life of authenticity and integrity. Jaime had found her peace, not in revenge, but in the knowledge that she had stood up for herself and refused to be a victim. So, that's the story. A heartbreaking reminder that sometimes the people closest to us are capable of the greatest betrayals, but also a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit. Jaime's story is a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable pain, we have the power to rise above it, to reclaim our lives, and to find happiness again. What did you think of Jaime's story? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more true stories, and share it with anyone who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching.